The DNA of my brand, well, I would say is very personal, and I would say is a reinterpretation of the classics. So it's modern classics, and sometimes with a fun and ironic aspect. I also like to play and push those limits. It reflects my own personality, it reflects my taste, it reflects what I want to wear. Completely, yes. I must say that I started by designing pieces for myself, pieces that I couldn't find in the market. And I am, the first one to be so excited when a prototype is ready and finally I can wear it. I must say, I think about what would I wear? Yes. Well, I come from a family where of course, there was a great passion for clothes, but also for jewelry. I remember, observing those women wearing the most amazing and beautiful and interesting pieces of jewelry. And I was observing them, and I really liked to see how a piece of jewelry could change the way of sitting in a more regal way, could make you also give you immediately more presence. And I always find a strong connection between fur and stones. They are primitive, they're organic, but they are like, amulets of strength. My message would be to be less afraid of the jewelry and to find the preciousness not just in the precious stones, but also in a new design, also the preciousness of a concept, the preciousness of a uncommon material, the preciousness of the handcrafted, of the handmade, of the limited editions, of the impeccable quality. It's a sophisticated romanticism, for sure. For example, my eye has a very romantic background because my eye is not inspired by the evil eye, but it's inspired by this Victorian tradition called the lover's eye. And so it was a tradition of where the women would hide in their husband's clothes some embroidered eyes or some miniature eyes, and to tell them, I have an eye on you, don't betray me. So as a protection for their love. But I guess there is of course some romanticism, but there is also some futurism, in the way all the stones are suspended, in the way they kind of float, and in the way everything is sharp, but in the same way by using a red ruby lips. I mean, this is something for sure, it's romantic, it's sensual. Well, my favorite, I would say at the moment I really feel the white diamond. But just because I like this duality that it has, it's the diamond of, it speaks about romanticism, it speaks about love, it's the most feminine, but in the same time is also the stone for warriors, because they call it the unbreakable. So I like this two lives of the diamond. But I like to mix with, to say no to any kind of stone, semi-precious, hard stones, ultra-precious, ultra-rare, maybe one piece. Because I have this, what I called democratic aspect of my line. So I would have the same style in different price categories. So I would use color topaz, I would use malachite, I would use tiger eyes, and free of mixing them with diamonds. I now work only with gold, except for some bigger scale brooches or some limited edition bracelets where I mix silver with marble, with wood, resin, etc. For the most experimental pieces, I would use the silver. But I use gold, essentially. I would say I started using the rose gold 1.5 years ago. I really love the way it was to emphasize this suspension of the of the stones on your hands, because the rose gold really melts with your skin. And the white diamonds, I think they have an incredible light with the rose gold. I like to mix those metals. I don't like following the rules of the metal color, you know. I would love doing a parure of earrings in white, necklace in rose, bracelets in yellow, rings in black, you know. I think it's very modern. Well, you can be, you know, minimal with a Celine beautiful gown with a beautiful leather also skirt, or you can even be more as a tropical bird with a beautiful Fendi colored fur, and sort of mix and have the brooches kind of hide and sneak out from the fur. So I think they're very adaptable. It depends on how much you want them to melt or to be under a starlight. They don't have a rule. I think they're pieces made for any kind of time. You decide. Well, for example, talking about nighttime and daytime, I think that by wearing just one earring, you can also exaggerate on one side, you know. You can wear maybe a more extravagant or a more precious earring, but if it's one, you could do it even on a daytime. But my concept is to find many different possibilities, you know, because they're all stacking rings, and many of the rings go on each finger, and sometimes they even go on the different part of the finger. So it's really enjoy all those different possibilities. My impression is that they mostly love precious stones. So I think by accepting and by being tempted by a design, they will also start accepting the semi-precious stones. But it's true that I see that mostly of my, you know, big hand bracelets or my sort of more present pieces, they are very well received from the Arab women. So the use of malachite, of tiger eye, of very, you know, sort of deep stones with patterns. But the rose gold here, it's very well received, and I'm very happy about it. But I see that there is a lot of attraction to green stones.